In this video, I'm going to show you this one technique that will improve the quality of your footage regardless of what camera you're shooting on. So let's get into it. When it comes to capturing beautiful cinematic footage, there are many things involved in that process. But the one thing that is often overlooked by beginners is the importance of lighting. Lighting is the make or break of video cameras. It doesn't matter what you're shooting on, if you have really bad lighting, your footage is going to look awful. So it's really important that you pay close attention to the lighting in your scene. So I'm going to give you a few quick examples of how to improve the quality of your visuals using lighting. So I'm going to turn off all of the lights within this scene and you're going to instantly see the difference between what we've got now and versus what we have without any light whatsoever. So here we go. I've got no light in the scene. I'm currently only using natural light and unfortunately, look at how boring and dark the shot is. The footage doesn't look very good and that's because there's no light shaping the scene. Now, there's three key lights that I'm using within this scene. I've got a big light over here. This is my fill light and this is adding light onto my face and the back wall. We've got this lamp over here. This is a practical light. You can see this in the scene and that is basically adding a warm tone onto the wall. And then in the back here, we've got these strip lights and these are adding color and a hair light to the back of my head. So let me turn these lights on one by one and I'll show you exactly what each light is doing. Now, turning on the fill light, this one big light just up here has added light onto myself, the subject. And that looks great, but that's only one part of the process. We now need to light the scene and the environment around me. So next we're going to move on to the lamp just beside me, and this is a practical light and this is going to add a nice orange glow to this wall here. And there you go, the second light is now on and it's adding some light onto the back wall, and because it's a practical light it's also adding a little bit of flavor into this scene. Now I'm going to turn on the third set of lights, and these are two strip lights. They're colored strip lights to add a bit of color into the scene, but they're also really awesome because they're going to add a hair light around the side of my head. Let me show you what I mean. And there you go. That's the third set of lighting now turned on, and that's going to finish the scene off quite nicely. These lights are really awesome because they've got two different colors. They're blue and purple, which means they're interjecting some color into the scene. But not only are they adding color, they're also adding this hairline around the side of my head. So let me just show you an extreme example of that. If I just take this one light off its light stand, if I add this directly behind my head, you can see this harsh line around the side of my head, and this is a hairline. Now the effect is a little bit more subtle when I put it over there on the light stand, but the effect is still there. There is still a faint light just around the side of my head, and this is really important because it's adding a little bit of depth between myself, the subject, and the background. Without these lights on, I just kind of blend in with the background, and there's no real depth to the scene. Turning these lights on just behind me is adding that little bit of light, and it's really helping me to stand out, and it's making me the primary focus within this shot. So this shot is filmed on a Sony FS7, and at the time of purchasing, this camera cost me around £10,000. It's a TV approved, Netflix approved camera, shoots 4K, but with no lighting, the footage looks like this. It looks a little bit ugly. And this shot is captured on the iPhone with all of the lighting turned on. And if you had to choose between the first shot and the second shot, I would imagine you'd go for this shot and say this shot was more cinematic and looked better than the first shot. It doesn't really matter too much about what camera you're shooting on when you've got the correct lighting in front of the camera. This example shows you that an iPhone looks so much better with correct lighting versus an expensive TV camera with incorrect, poor lighting. So before you start thinking about rushing down to your local camera store and throwing thousands at a brand new camera, look at investing in a good lighting setup first, improve your lighting, learn how to shape lighting, and I promise you your footage is going to instantly improve, and the quality of the footage that you're filming from your current camera will look a million times better than what it currently does. Now, of course, there are many different ways of making your footage look more cinematic, but just adding in some light, correctly lighting your scene is the easiest way of doing so. So don't neglect your lighting and don't think you have to go ahead and buy a brand new camera to get great looking footage. Just focus on your lighting. And there you go. That brings us to the end of this video. So thank you for watching and I will see you on the next video. See you there.